What's up everybody, Daster D here, and for my first video I'm going to be telling you how I got robbed at a 7-Eleven on acid. But before we get into the video, make sure you like and subscribe if you're looking for any more content that's around this area of expertise. And without further ado, let's get into the story. So it was a normal day, and I was going down to my work. I actually worked overnight at a 7-Eleven, and I actually pulled up to my plug's house before going to work, and I grabbed a couple of tabs of acid. I thought I was going to drop them after I got out of work, but you know the you know how you get, and you're like, man, I'm not feeling all that great tonight. Might as well drop a couple tabs of acid while I'm working, because that's a smart idea. Now this happened about 3 to 4 years ago now, and I am out of that stint of my drug habit. However, it's nice to look back and reminisce about those days sometimes. So I ended up going over to my 7-Eleven. I started working, and I had them in my pocket. And I was actually working with my other coworker tonight. Let's call her mm, Sarah. Sure, let's call her Sarah. That sounds like a good name. I am not locked by picking this. So so me and Sarah, we were working pretty good. It was a stocking night. That's why there was two people at the store at that time. Otherwise, it would have just been me. But we were going along just good. And I ended up going to the bathroom, and I felt the tabs in my pocket, the little piece of tinfoil, and I was like, all right, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. And I took the two tabs, threw them down the gullet, and I started feeling it around. Or I started going around, and I kept working, seeing if anything I could feel, and nothing really happened for the first 30, 40 minutes. Then I started feeling a really weird feeling, like all of my teeth were in my mouth. Now, if you haven't done acid before, this makes absolutely no sense. However, if you have done acid before, this makes complete sense. It's a feeling of having every tooth in your mouth and they're buzzing. Now, I started feeling that feeling, and I'm like, oh, all right, these things are going to these things are starting to hit, huh? So I started, sweeping, because you can't really sit down or sit still while you're on acid. So I just started working like to the best of my ability, and we we started having I started feeling real joyous, if you could understand what I mean. Um, but yeah, a little bit later on, I was starting to have a real good night. Oh, that guy's alive. I started having a real good night, and yeah, I started looking around, and oh, okay, thank you. Um, uh, and I was getting mild visuals. This wasn't the strongest acid I have ever had, but what? Oh, 8 turn lock. Okay. Um, I apologize. I have not played a PC game in like 2 years now. So, if my gameplay isn't that good, that is why. So I ended up feeling real good, and having mild visuals, nothing great. They weren't the strongest tabs I ever had, and about midnight to 1 a.m. comes around, and at this point, Sarah's sitting in the back room, just doing her thing. I don't remember what it was. It was some inventory type something, and she closes the door behind her, and some guy runs in, and I wasn't paying attention because no one was in the store at the time. So I was looking down at my phone, and I look up, and this dude in a shiesty comes out, and I look at him. I'm like, oh, all right, he must be wanting to check out. So I walk up to the dude, and he starts like muttering, and I go, sorry man, I can't hear you. And he goes, give me all the money in the register. And I go, oh, well, all right. And I looked down at him. I thought he was like making a joke or something, because this dude was maybe 5'4", And I'm not like the shortest guy ever. I'm like 6'4", 6'5". So and there's a little like bump between the register and the between the register and the uh like the floor where the people stand. So I ended up being like a whole foot and a half taller than this dude, like standing at the register. So I'm looking at this dude and I'm looking down at him. I thought he was somehow making a joke, and he pulls out a 1 inch pocket knife, and I look at the dude. All this time, this dude's face is like conforming, like moving back and forth, making like weird shapes. He didn't look right at all. So I was like, I look at the dude and I'm like, "Are you serious?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm serious. Put all the money in my fucking, or pull the till out and give me all the fucking money in the register." And I was like, "Oh, all right." Because I was like, it's not my money. Like, why do I give a shit? So I open up the register and I put the till on the counter, and he tells me to turn around and go get all the Marb Reds and the Newports that were sitting on the back of the like the cigarette cartridge holder. So I turn around, I look at the cigarette cartridge holder, and I look at it, and I was like, this is gonna be hard because they got like a weird pulley system where you have to go and like pull it out, pull it up, and then pull it out because it's like anti-theft. So I'm sitting there and I'm like struggling with this thing, and this dude's sitting there like, "Holy shit, hurry up, man! I don't got all day and all that stuff." And I'm looking at him and I'm like, "Dude, I don't know how the fuck to do this." And this whole time I'm on acid, mind you. So I'm sitting there like a 6 year old, like playing with a fucking rolly cart or something. And I didn't manage to actually do it, and this guy's screaming at me. He's like, "Hurry the fuck up, man! Hurry the fuck up!" So I turn around, and I look at him. I'm like, "You know what? Fuck you, man! You do it then." And I back up, and I let him go and get the Newports and the Marbreds. And I turn around and I look at him, and he walks right over to the shelf, and he pulls it over, picks it up, and pulls it right out, right in front of me. He does it perfectly the first time, and I look at the dude, and I'm like, "Fuck, I'm stupid." And then it was immediate. He looks at me and he goes, "Hey man, you're retarded." And I go, "Yeah, yeah, I am." and, and this dude looks at me. He steps back again, and I'm looking at the broom at this point because I'm like, maybe I should be the hero of this situation. I'm looking at the broom. I'm like, maybe I should just pick this up and hit him over the head with it. But then I realize I don't want to get into a fight over something that's not mine. So I ended up, leaving it be. And he comes back around and he looks at the other register and realizes that there is another register, and he tells me to get the money out of that till too. So I said, all right, and I open up the till, and the guy, I pull it out and I give it to him, and there was like $7 in that register. Altogether, this guy got like $42.63, I think the police said. And he got maybe like $200 in cigarettes. So I don't think it was a very successful robbery for him. Um, so he ended up running out of the store, and the police came over and started interviewing me. And mind you, I'm still on acid at this time. So I started interviewing, with the cops and stuff like that. And I'm trying to make it small talk. I'm trying to seem like this innocent little kid who's not on acid currently talking to the police. So I'm like, I want to be like you when I grow up one day. And I'm this like 18-year-old kid who's like obviously not wanting to grow up to be a police officer, talking to these guys, and they're all looking at me weird. And I ended up uh, giving them all the information, and I'm guessing they never caught this guy because they never once ever called me back or had me like go into a lineup to identify anyone. I don't think it was actually worth their time for the $40. Now, going back on the robbery, I also forgot to say, Sarah ended up locking herself into the office at the time, so she locked me out of the safest place in the like entire store. So so that was nice too. Um, but yeah, yeah, that was a pretty cool experience that I had, and it was actually surprisingly fun. It gave me something to do that night that I didn't expect that I was gonna do. So overall, I'd say it's a solid 6 out of 10 experience to get robbed on acid at a gas station, and I enjoyed the rest of my night because I had something to do. So yeah, that's about it. See ya.